that we talk, they think that they are uh, they need to seize that opportunity. They need to raise funding from any angel, but in the long term, I mean, in a short period of time, this might help the startup to keep the operations up and running, especially from finance perspective. We all know that startups are lacking of cash, and cash is the king of business. This is for sure. But the thing is, as you said, I mean, you can just get some borrow from the bank or some other
Yeah.
financial institution if it is the
Right.
only reason, if the money is the only reason to raise that funding. But the thing is, when startups are able to meet and match with the right partner,
Right.
rather than just a regular financing angel investor, then some good things happen.
Yeah.
That person can take you to the major accounts in the industry that you are working in,
Right.
or he can introduce or she can introduce you to some other
Right.
potential investors, or VC contacts, or
Yes.
that person might have the expertise, maybe in technology, maybe in business, maybe in the industry that you work in. So
Correct.
this is 100% vital issue for startups. I mean, they need to pay attention to that. Otherwise, all of these angel investment stories starts good with motivation, with excitement, but it doesn't take too long to
Hmm.
turn into a problematic relationship.
Correct.
So instead of saving the next a few months, startups should focus on growing their business, which is
Yeah. Yeah.
a long term thing. And we have experienced a few similar things in the startups that we work with. I mean, the ones who have their strategic partner as an angel investor in their company, they create some difference in the long term. That is for sure. So completely agree with your advice.
Right. Right. It's kind of marriage. So
Yeah,
choose your spouse carefully.
absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
so that. So next way of fundraising is,
Mhm.
as you go from angel round, you go to VC, venture capital, and venture capitalists are professional driven funds where the larger risk or larger capital game is played, and these are funds which are handled by professionals. So they bet on a higher when you are on a further path of your entrepreneurship journey. You are in a stage where a big amount of money is needed to grow, and they see very high potential of growth. So they will grow they will invest a good amount of money. So but VC, when you go for VC, you should understand that you are going to give control of your company,
Mhm.
because people are giving you money. They will also be needing will need the returns also. And with that kind of money, they will they will start having their own people or the experts into your company, because they want security of their funds. And that is not wrong, because they're the kind of investment that these guys make. So when anybody is going for venture VC funds, there should be acceptance of that fact that I am going to give control. Because what happened in entrepreneurial journey, like we get it though so involved in startups, that the whole control is very important, because then we control every aspect of the business.
Yeah, yeah.
So giving away that thing, we should be mentally prepared for that.
Yeah,
So
here's my question. Uh, when we talk about the angel investment part, you mentioned that it's kind of marriage, so you need that synergy, you need that right match,
right,
right fit, who can take your venture to the next level. Does it
right,
apply to VC type of investment also? I mean,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead. I mean, this is
Absolutely.
institutional money. I mean, it's not coming from an individual, but still, do we have that synergy? How does it
Yes,
go?
yes, absolutely. And see, if there are different VCs for different kind of ecosystem or domains. So you should be very aware of the fact that this is the kind of in which domain your startup is, and that kind of VC has invested prior to your investment, so that you have seen the track record of the fund or the fund managers.
Yeah.
So you should be very aware of the fact that, and even if you are going to pitch for a VC, you should have taken the like history of the VC funds and what kind of startup they have earlier invested. So you are not making like fool of yourself and investing their times and you're also. So that is very important. Even for the venture capitalist fund also, they are dedicated fund for some purpose. And if you know that it is a high potential fund who has actually shown results in their earlier startups, then you should go. You should not go with a blank mind. You just need money to grow and you can take money from anybody, because in that down the line, 1 year 2 years, that will be like you that will create a problem. And
Yeah.
we have seen in Indian context, we have just seen the Flipkart has been like the Walmart bought Flipkart, and with that the first co-founder Sachin Bansal has to move out of the startup. And then the after 6 months, the second founder has to go out of the startup,
Yeah.
because that kind of money and so many problems, so many new people come. You have to keep in mind that control of your company will be going to somebody else also. So eh, but if your company needs money, then you can go for VC always for the big money. And it is a like huge success if VC, a good VC fund invest in your startup. There's a good potential.
Yeah, great. I mean, as an entrepreneur, I would love to emphasize that what you said again. I mean, founders, startups need to check the track record of a VC before
Yes.
engaging with them. So it will give startups a few ideas about how that VC operates, what their
Yeah.
priority is. So this is absolutely a must do for startups before getting an investment. So this is a good thing. So I I think there's another important detail about VC investment. Uh,
Right.
should startups have an exit strategy before engaging with a VC, or is it not necessary to have a strategy, have a one right in the beginning while raising funding, or should they have it beforehand? What do you think about that?
Like if you see from the perspective of VC,
Yeah.
so a founder always has to think about the person who is investing money also, right? You have your own startup. You know the potential of the startups, your own startup. But people who is investing in money, they don't know much about everything.
Yeah.
Okay, they have invested on based on your past record, on your profile, on the people, the team they have invested. Okay, and they are looking for the returns. So that is a reality. So they invested, they want returns, right? So until and unless you show them what is the exit strategy for them, for not for you, that should be very clear. So exit strategy can be for you also, right?
Yeah,
when,
yeah,
when we say exit strategy, most people think how they will get out of the startup. So that should not be the focus. The focus should be on returning money, giving a high investment for the VCs. So how they will go get out of it, making money. If you know that vision you have, and you can share with those guys, I think having an exit strategy for investor
yeah.
before you go for investment is very important.
Okay. Okay. That is good to know. That is good to know.
Right.
Yeah.
And apart from, there are small other small ways of raising money. There are like competitions, startup competitions from different like private companies as well from the government. People raise quite a good amount of money from them there also. So you should be, if that is not a much distraction, then you can have once or twice a year, you can apply for the this kind of competitions and earn good amount of money if your startup is very really good. So that is a different, just a bootstrapping way of more of a bootstrapping way of doing business
Yeah.
in initial years. So that is a one of another way.
Yeah. So one thing about VC engagement for a startup. I mean, we know that VCs do not want to waste their time with these startups who are not ready. So
Right.
when do you think a startup is ready for a VC conversation?
Yeah. So if like VC, for VC, if you have raised initial amount of money, like you have gone through an angel round, you have Series A and B or C kind of funds, and you have already done quite a good business,
Mm-hmm.
and so there is no fixed bar or some kind of milestone here where you understand, okay, I'm now ready for the investment. So that will be depend on the startup to startup. And once you feel that this is amount of money, the amount of money has to be large. Like you can't go for a VC for 1 CR or 1 million, maybe 500K. You can't go to a VC. That is like you can have a maybe angel round or some angel funds. But if you want like more than $5 million in your startup, then you start thinking, and that ask should be what do you say, it should be genuine, and you should able to convince VC that this is amount of money I actually want to grow my business. And for that you should have a very good track record of growth in the last few years. Otherwise, why you will say that I will need 5 million or 10 million or 100 million for the growth when you have not shown that track record? So
Yeah.
if that track records comes in 3 years, good enough. It comes in 5 years, then it's also good enough. So that depends on the startup and what a kind of growth they are actually have already had, and they will have in the future. So there is no milestone. People I've seen going to VC in one and a half years.
Yeah.
Uh, some has not gone for the VCs, and they've already sold their business and made a quite good amount of money. So that depends on it's very very dynamic in that way. But only thing which is common is that the amount of money needed is quite large.
I see. I see. Yeah. Thanks for clarifying it. I think this is important because startups are too excited to raise VC funding, and instead of starting a half-baked process, it's better to wait for the right time to raise VC type of funding for a startup. So I think that was
and
another
to, and then
wise.
just to add to this thing, for like for the right, for approaching the right VC again, if you have gone through angel round, that angel is very important. That angel network is very important because they are into that game and they understand what kind of VCs had done what kind of startups. So they can handhold you through that process, because their own benefit, because their own
Right.
money is already invested in you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they will actually they will actually guide you well. So that for that also you have to choose your angel very very carefully.
Yeah. Great advice. Great advice. How do startups reach out to VCs? How they can find them?
Yeah, so there are multiple ways. One, I have said that through angel, because
Yeah.
they are connected to. First validation is you're like you've already have your customer. Second validation is your investment through angel, and then angel is taking you to the VCs. That is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, directly approaching them with your pitch deck and all this thing. There are consultants also in between where they have a kind of network of VCs where they can pitch. So that is another way of doing it. And third way of doing it is to, like, there are platforms, right? You have angel.co.in, you have
Yeah. Yeah.
angel list and all this thing. So where you can find angels also, and a small VC funds also.
Mm-hmm.
So there you can actually put your pitch deck and whatever success you have in past, they can directly contact you. So I think it's a multiple prone strategy where you should be visible to all kind of network possible if you directly wanted to have money from VC.
Yeah. I think I would support the first method you mentioned. I mean, through angels or some strategic
Yes,
partners, because
right.
in one of his articles, Mark Andreessen, probably one of the biggest names of entire tech and startup history. He said, I mean, you're not able to reach out to me via an email. I mean, you need to get in touch with me through the right people. So it's just a small test of your networking skills, and it is quite important for startup founders. So yeah, I mean, I will suggest that startups reach out to VCs through their strategic network.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that would be wise for them. I agree with that.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
So, say for VCs, or they might be getting like 100 of emails every day with their pitch deck, right? So they might not be going through, or even that will be like giving our wrong impressions also, because that VC might not focus enough sector A, and you are from sector B, and you are giving a pitch deck for that kind of domain which he is not interested or she is not interested.
Yeah.
So you are wasting time of like your time and his time also. So it is always good if you have connection through angel network or angel, then it might be very helpful. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. So I think there are tons of details about investment, and I would love to have another webinar with you to dive deeper into that conversation. I mean, we can just assess, analyze a few
Sure.
cases, real life cases about investment. So let's keep that for another webinar. So put that away. Do you have any other advice, any other suggestion for startups for investment?
It's like I've already said, like in bitten pieces everywhere. Uh, I think for a entrepreneur, one should be, the most important factor is it's a focus. You should be very focused on whatever goal you started with, and if you have pivot away from your own mission, so it should be very. There should be a very focused approach if you have done such thing. Otherwise, you should be focused on getting the results from your initial vision, because in entrepreneurship, that is a very lonely journey, and you will doubt your own decisions many times.
Yeah.
So if you are focused and you are not committed to the cause where you started, it will be very difficult for you to sustain in the long term. So focus is very important.
Okay. This is one single important piece of advice from Amit. So Amit, I think that was a fun conversation. There are some important advices from your side to startup founders. How can they reach out to you to get more advice?
Sure. So I'm very active on LinkedIn. They can find me on LinkedIn also, and as my mail ID, you can share with all these guys. My mail ID is amit@innocence.com, and you can have that on the screen also after that. So I'm active on LinkedIn. I reply on mails, so that they can reach through any of the medium.
Okay. Thank you for that. Appreciate your time. I mean, I know it's getting much later there. So thank you for this conversation again. I really enjoyed it. I'm sure startups will benefit from this conversation, and hope to see you in our next webinar.
Yeah, thank you so much. It is late in the evening in India, but for entrepreneurs it is not late. It is
Yeah.
just starting day.
Yeah.
So it's perfectly all right, and I'm happy to share my views and advice with new startups.
Okay, that's great.
Looking
Yeah.
forward for the next thing. Thanks so much for arranging this webinar.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much again. See you later.
Thank you. Bye.